Yo, what is up everyone? Hope all's going well for ya. Welcome back to Get Jacked. Now to continue off here in official PvP. Today, we're here in Aberration, and we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. So, in the last video, I asked, basically, if you guys wanted to ask any questions of me, ARK related, real life related, that we're going to be getting into another Q&A. So we've gotten into these in the past. Obviously, it's been a while since we've done one, just because I spend so much. I think I've just been raising too many babies. Obviously, that's what I'm going to blame it on. As you can see, it takes too much time and effort, and I don't have time for Q&As when I'm raising this much stuff all the time, you know what I'm saying? So maybe we'll cut back on our breeding, and I can do these every once in a while. So I put together all the questions that are not all of them. Obviously, there were a ton, and some of them were repeats. Other ones were ones that I've answered in the past a few times. So I tried to get a good variety of them, and we're just going to do some drop farming, have some fun, see what we can get today. We'll probably just farm up a whole bunch of element to be a little bit productive, but we'll mostly just focus on drops. So let's get into this. Alright, so we're ascending into our floating cliff platform base, and they actually changed a few things with ARK. So I want to go over these first before we get into our Q&A, but they basically just released a pretty decent update, changes to PvP, stuff like that, that we need to check out. So the first thing is, and this is probably the biggest change actually, is vaults now have 350 slots. Check this out. 350, it just looks weird. I'm so used to seeing 0 out of 150, and this looks like modded or something. So look at this, so many slots. Obviously, this is gonna help render body bags like not useful. Basically, I don't know why they wouldn't just fix body bags, but it seems like this is gonna be their workaround. Instead of just fixing body bags, they're just making vaults better. You know what I mean? So I wish they would have increased the price. I don't get why they didn't. I always hated the price of vaults because, you know, C4 is so expensive when somebody's got 100 vaults in their base you have to blow up. But the other thing we have to check is flak, but I don't think I have any around here. Alright, came out to where we have a decent amount of flak, and I grabbed 3 sets. This is normally what I bring in a raid. And check out the weight. So we're looking at, if you bring, you know, 1 on yourself, 2 backups, you're looking at almost 100 pounds right there. So honestly, this is really going to change how things work in ARK, mostly because people aren't going to be running around with 5 sets of flak anymore, unless they don't have any weapons or anything. And that's really what, you know, you could always, if you got shot by a Fabby, they break your armor, you just throw on another piece, and you could just keep doing that, basically. Kind of rendering Fabbies kind of, you know, they're kind of crappy in a fight situation, because people just have tons of flak. They actually made a change to Fabbies as well. They're going to cost 25%, or I'm sorry, the recipes scale 25% better, which is going to make all Fabbies that you craft better in general. So less flak, more Fabbies, I'm okay with that. Alright, so I went out farming a ton of drops. We've got a whole bunch of these. I'm basically just going to keep in all the drops. I'll kind of give you a good overview of what you get on the surface. A lot of them did turn out to be some pretty good like weapons, BPs and stuff, and we're restocking a lot of our BPs since the dev wipe, so we could definitely use them. I wanted to go over just a couple more quick changes that they've made in the last update before we get into like the question part of it. So another big thing is they've actually made it so you can pin code refrigerators. That's big. You could usually just run in, grab eggs, things like that. I mean, they don't take, you know, they only take 1 C4 to blow up, so it's not a big deal, but it'll keep low level players from being able to steal eggs, just grab things out of your fridges, stuff like that. So I actually think that's a pretty good change. They've also made it so that poison wyverns will no longer actually loot you from mass distance, which is crazy to me. They said it was a bug, and it's crazy to me because how did it take them so long to fix this bug? I just thought it was a game mechanic. They could have just said they nerfed the poison wyvern or something like that, but saying that this was a bug and it wasn't intended all along is kind of crazy. That's been in the game since poisons came out, and it's been such a frustration. But anyway, it's changed. They're not going to loot you from a distance anymore. Another huge change is that Pachyrhinos have been nerfed. We've all been waiting for it to come. We knew it was going to happen. But the funny thing is they actually haven't nerfed trikes, which are still, you know, they were just like the same as the Pachyrhinos, just a little bit different of how their head worked. But honestly, I think people still use Packies depending on the reduction. I have to take a look at what it is. They didn't actually say in the patch notes at all, but people can definitely go to trikes because that is a good alternative. Now, that's kind of like the big stuff that I wanted to go over for the patch notes. Why don't we get into what we're actually here for, and that's a Q&A and some questions from you guys. All right, then the first one is going to come from Ian Childers, and he asks, what's your opinion on building in underwater caves? And I definitely recommend it. I think building on the islands, underwater caves, the hard and easy one, is actually a really good thing to do, but not in the early game. You can't get resources and things like that down there, so I wouldn't recommend starting there. But once you have teleporter unlocked and you can get a teleporter on the outside, pretty much you can base your whole base out of that cave and then just use teleporters all over the map to do farming and things like that. So early on, probably not a good idea, but later on, once you can get a turret wall, all that kind of stuff, definitely something that you want to consider. We even use the Ragnarok underwater cave, and if you can defend it good enough, you can hold it for as pretty much long as you want. Alright, and then this next one's coming from Thomas Mason, and he asks, who introduced you to ARK? And I honestly can't even remember. I've played ARK since day one. I pre-ordered it. I actually played Reign of Kings. It was one of the biggest survival games actually at the time before this came out. There was like Reign of Kings, The Forest, and I don't even remember what else was going on, but ARK was the big one that came out, and everybody in the community there was talking about it, so I bought it and literally started it day one and never went back to the other survival games. So been with it since then. Next one comes from Alright, and then this next one's coming from RazorX Gaming 23, and he asks, how did you get into Evil Nation, and what's your favorite dino? These are totally different things, but the first one, Evil Nation, I got into Evil Nation basically at the end of Legacy when we came over to the new servers. I didn't want to lead a tribe anymore. It was a lot of work. I just wanted to kind of chill, have fun, enjoy the game, and things like that, and so I joined a bigger tribe, one of my guys who played with me on the old swamp, like, it wasn't at the swamp base, he played basically on the iceberg base, invited me to join in, so I joined after Legacy, and that was pretty much that. Then the second part of your question, what's my favorite dino? I'd have to say, now that I've been playing on Aberration and stuff like that, my favorite dino is the Megalosaurus. I think it's it's really fun to use on Aberration. I know it's not like useful on other maps, and that's kind of sad because it's like it's only land dino that can be super powerful. It could easily fight a Rex, Spino, Reaper King if you had a light pet head on, and it can also pick up people and kill them easily. It's kind of like a mix between a nice like Therizino and a Rex, which I love that, and I think they're just really fun to use and mobile as well. So that's that. On to the next one. And this one's coming from Bloody Division, and they ask, would you ever start your own tribe again? And it's honestly something I've thought of. It's something that I've, considered, obviously, but it's a lot of work to run your own tribe, and with YouTube and how much I just like enjoy playing the game, leadership does not turn out to be very much actual gameplay, and owning a tribe, especially one of a huge caliber, can be a lot of work. I would rather own like a small tribe within a mega tribe or something like that, one where you can deal with the basic politics and stuff, but it's a lot of work that you get sick of after a certain period of time. Alright, and this one comes from Rampage. How many hours do you have on ARK? I feel like I answer this one all the time. People never believe me either. I have 7.9k hours. Just getting up on that 8k mark. I think I posted right at the end of Legacy that I had around 5,000 or so. So we put a decent amount in on actual release, but a lot of that is, alpha and all the steps and stages that we've gone through from the beginning of ARK till now, so it's been quite a journey. Alright, and then this one comes from Red Reaper, and they ask, how did you start YouTube, and what was your first console? So I think by console you mean like maybe first gaming system that I got. I personally started out, like, first thing we ever got was a GameCube. I had a GameCube, and then I went right to PC pretty much. I've had an Xbox going out like throughout the years because, you gotta have an Xbox for like games that you can't get on PC and things like that. But I pretty much started playing Elder Scrolls, Age of Empires, all this stuff on PC pretty much like right away, and this was on some sketchy PCs back then, so it was really cool when the GameCube first came out, but that was the first one I started with. I haven't otherwise played on console really too much. Stuck to PC, guys. Alright, and then we got this one from Mason Holt, and he asks, how long do you think you'll keep playing ARK, and what annoys you the most? Don't say Troodons. Alright, well, that narrows that one out. Actually, on Aberration, it's the mushrooms that'll get you, not the Troodons. I don't even bother with those anymore. But I'll probably play ARK until they stop adding, like, I'm really waiting for this new expansion, and they always add things in, you know, change up the game mechanics and stuff like that. Honestly, it's getting a little bit stale recently with a lot of the stuff that's been going on, but I feel like, honestly, it's just something that you get a little bit sick of and then you come back to, and then you get sick of and then you come back to, and that's kind of how this game is. There's nothing like it, nothing that can compare to ARK, so it's kind of hard to stay away from it for too long, if you know what I mean. But in my opinion, the most annoying thing in this entire game is the transfer timer. I hate it. I think it's the dumbest thing that they could have added to the game. So many tribes have been dev wiped for like duping and things like that. This was supposed to like prevent that. I know it's made it easier, but really they just pretty much patched up a band-aid. They didn't fix it. They just added some stupid timer that only makes everybody hate PvP. Like, it makes everything hard to scout. You have to like continuously wait on timers on all your items and things like that when you're trying to scout servers. Usually it means that the first server you go to is the one that you're going to raid, no matter the size of the base, where you used to be able to pick and choose. You know, if you didn't want to hit a smaller base, you could just go to another server, whereas now it's like, well, I spent an hour trying to get onto the server, I'm staying here, I'm not gonna, you know, that's kind of like the mindset. Is it takes way too long to like go between servers and do all that. I just think it's just a whole dumb system, and things would be a lot more fun in PvP without it. You could go back to your server, get more gear, and it would be less about just sitting inside of racers soaking, because you're scared to lose a kit, you know, because you have to go back to your server and wait 30 minutes to come back. It's annoying. But I'll tell you one thing that's not annoying. This next question from Bluey Boy. Are you ever going to bring back the old intro? I threw it at the beginning of this one, so I expect to never see this question asked ever again. Just kidding. I expect it in every video, and it better be there. And maybe next time we do a Q&A, we'll throw in an intro as well. So next question from Moto Rides. Is this still your main job? If not, what is, and what specs are your PC? Well, as for the specs for the PC, I've got those all listed in the description down below. I think it's also in the info on the channel page. That'll show you everything that I have, if you're wondering. I know I get that question a lot, but as for the first part, yes, I am lucky enough to have YouTube as my full-time job. We do pretty well. We're living out in Denver, me and the girlfriend, and it's really helped out. If this wasn't making me enough to be a full-time job, she'd probably kill me, because I spend so much time doing this. It's like I'm spending my leisure and work all in one, but that's why I love it. I get to do everything, and I just pretty much stay at home playing ARK for you guys. Next question comes from Lucas270, and he asks, how did you meet your girlfriend, and how is your relationship going? How does she feel about ARK? So this kind of ties into the last one. She's, you know, pretty used to ARK at this point, and pretty much it being my job. When I tell people about what I do, they just don't understand how I spend so much time doing it, but she is one person that does, just because she sees what goes on, how much time and effort goes into editing, things like that. So she understands, and you know, it is also my job, so you kind of have to. We've been doing really well. We moved out here from Wisconsin to Colorado. We've been together for about 6 years, and we met in college, so it's been going pretty good. All right, the next one comes from Rich House. Rich House? Is that a coincidence, or is that actually your name? Anyway, they asked if you could pick the color mutation on your tapes, what would it be? And honestly, my favorite color scheme, pretty much on any dyno, is the black and red. My black and red Terras were always my favorite. If I ever got black and red Rexes, which I have not, that would be awesome. A black and red Quetzal, I would love that. Pretty much anything with that color scheme I go for. It always seems to be more bright and like colorful colors that they turn out, but I've always gone for that clean like black and red look, or even like all black, honestly, is something that I go for. Alright, and this next one comes from Mukim Ahmed Midya, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but I'm trying my best. What is the best soaker in terms of HP and damage intake from turrets? So I get this one a lot. A lot of people like want to know what is the best soaker, and there really isn't an answer for that. It all depends on what is happening. So the first thing that you want to try is a trike or a Pachyrhino. If it's less than 11 high, you can tank with those. Those are the best damage reductions. So you're going to get the best out of your cake. So you'll go with those if you can. If you can't go with those, then you move it up and you go to a Stego. The reason that you wouldn't use a Stego and you would use like a Paracer or a Bronto instead is if people are actively trying to pick the stego. So if they've got birds or something out and you cannot soak without them picking you or flashbanging you off, then you have to upgrade to like a racer or a bronto. Those take a lot more damage from turrets. You're gonna have to use a lot more cakes, but they are the safest route to go. So it really depends on the situation, and to really what dino you're going to bring out really depends on that. I'd recommend having at least a trike or a packy, a stego, and a parasaur all in the upload. Alright, and this one comes from Tij van Roosendaal. Sorry man, I don't know if I said that right, but how many servers of yours got death wiped? I actually like that name a lot better. That makes it sound much more intense. Like all of our servers were death wiped. Way cooler. Anyway, 5 of our 7 servers were dev wiped, and it's making the rebuilding process all the more fun. Alright, the next one from Sorry, and they asked, do you ever feel like just going solo to experience the early game grind again, back to the days when a car node near the base was an issue and building compact solo bases was a thing? Now, honestly, I never did the whole compact solo base deal. I always went big. Like, that was never my PvP was never my full focus, if that makes sense. I think you build a very small base, you go solo if you just want to do small game PvP and things like that, but that's honestly never been my focus in this game. I love the large scale stuff. The big PvP minus lag is why I play this game. I play for that end game stuff. I like the tech, I like the breeding of dinos, and I like full scale invasions and stuff like that. I've never been a big Bola and Pteranodon PvP style guy. I would like to like start over low and like from the beginning again, but only if everybody's on the same level. You know, I see how easy it is for a mega tribe to wipe through anybody really, and no solo player has a chance to last long on PvP, or official PvP at least. So it's really something that, I mean, it's your own personal playstyle preference, but I just don't think official's made for it right now. Maybe if they had more of these fresh start servers, things where people can start at lower levels, it would be a lot more fun. But right now at the state of the game, it's really not that fun. Alright, and this one from Anders. Just Anders, what's your opinion about the unlimited tribe size? Feels like your skill doesn't matter when these giga tribes just zerg you down. So definitely makes sense. It's impossible for a small tribe to fight against like a mega tribe or something like that. But there is a lot of work that goes into mega tribes as well. It's a lot to organize things like that. I feel like a medium-sized tribe who's really organized and can defend their base well, has players that are in time zones all across the board. You really just can't play in a group of all just people from your time zone or something like that, and that's because of how ARK is run. When you log out, that other people don't log out. Offline raiding is a thing, and you just really need one person to be able to warn people, to defend, or anything. So you need to broaden like the amount of people that you have in your tribe, but they really should add a cap, in all honesty. It's hard for a 20-player tribe to play against a 150-player tribe, but it should be like that. They should be able to compete. You shouldn't need 100 people in your tribe to actually be able to survive. So I definitely agree. It's not cool how it's set up with the tribes, but it needs a whole rework, I think. So on to the next one from Saturn's Sunset. What do you like more, base building or raiding? And I don't really like answering that question. I think every part of this game is just as good as the other, and I think you'll see it in my videos. You'll see 4 days of raiding in a row, and then base building, and then you'll see a couple things of dino raising. And people always ask, why don't you get sick of the game or anything like that? It's because you have to do different things. You have to run caves for drops. Even if you don't get the best drops every time, there is a chance that you will, and it keeps you like refreshed on the game. You have to do different things. You have to go to different maps, and you just can't do the same thing every day. Alright, and that brings us to our final question. That comes from Kawaii Potato. What do you think about the state of ARK right now and the fact that it is dying? Is Wildcard doing the right moves in your opinion? And in my opinion, I don't know what the heck they're doing. I don't know what anybody does in this game, and I don't care about any of the drama of it. A lot of our servers got dev wiped. We lost a lot of stuff, but what I've learned from ARK is that they're not going to change a thing. I've lost a lot of characters. I've complained about a lot of things in the community and a lot of the dumb decisions that they've made. And honestly, I'm done even thinking about what Wildcard has to do with this game. What this game is made of is the people that are playing it, the people in the community, and that already is getting toxic enough. I just want to play the game, not worry about what's going on, because that's what this is. It's a video game and it's meant to be enjoyed. So that's where we're going to stop for today, guys. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up and or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You have a great rest of your day, and of course, we'll catch you next time.